As interest and content on Fenland TV grows, the team have devised a new logo to accompany our programmes. We've been working with the Motherlode Studios in Welney, who have devised a new piece of music to accompany our visuals. I have followed one of our directors, Reg Clark, as he and the owner and composer of the Motherlode Studios, Simon Pollock, set about the recording and mixing of the music.
When you first showed me the 22 second clip, which may or may not be fungible a little bit around how long it could be and everything, for Fenland TV, I thought, fantastic, right? I thought it was really professional looking. I thought it was really cool, right, the way it came together. But I also got, what I felt that needed in terms of music to back it up, it needed music that could match the mood or the feelings I think that it was generating. So you need happy, you need upbeat, friendly sort of sound, not spooky, not bland. You know, I felt it needed that. Secondly, because it's Fens, we're a rural area, it needed to be authentic, acoustic instruments, reflecting a sort of countryside sort of feel.
Reg and Simon had met up previously to work through some ideas, and prior to today's recording session, the basic tune had been agreed. And although the recording of the lead instruments had yet to take place, the drum and bass track had been recorded.
So I've actually panned the ride cymbal all the way to the left.
Okay,
so
yeah.
It's opposite from where the banjo is.
Gotcha.
And that's the microphone just I can take out the bass. There's the microphone just on the ride.
Yeah.
I could work on trying to let's bring out some of the bass drum.
Having set the tempo, Simon took Reg through a few options and suggested some other sounds that may add a different element to the piece.
Often there's a lack of bass in some instruments, and there's a sort of, and it can just be interesting. I'm not sure it's going to work on this one though, because sometimes a classical sort of piano sound doesn't work so well in a more grungy or country sort of feel. So the piece would be something like this. I think is that you can get a lot of different moods coming out of it, so you can actually have an alternative in the minor key. So let's suppose there's something that is a sort of more negative or more contemplative.
I think it's all right, but I think for what we're doing, it's kind of losing the Fens feel. And if we were doing a full piece on a programme, I think it would probably work to change that feel. But I think what we're looking for in this instance, I think we'll drop the piano and we'll just stick with the banjo, bass,
all right,
guitar.
Make it more sort of authentically country
sort of sound.
Keep that
same sort of feeling.
Having disregarded the piano, Simon recorded a few guitar options as the track began to take shape.
Okay, let's get the click track going then. How's that?
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking for. Are you happy for that?
No, I need to do it one more time. I think I missed a note there.
Okay, we go one more time. 2, 3, 4, 2.
The Motherlode Studio has an array of microphones, guitars, drums and a vintage Steinway piano. With a few guitar options laid down, Simon switched to the banjo. I was in heaven at the studio. Watching Simon's talent with so many musical instruments was a great way to spend a Saturday. With the banjo track committed to the recorder, Simon and Reg set about agreeing the final mix for our logo.
What we had on the guitar,
Right.
the main instrument, we went to town a little bit with the microphones because it's the principal part of this whole piece. You know,
Yeah.
all the rest is bit filling and fluffing and padding.
Okay.
So we had the main microphone in front of it, which is the AKG C414, which is a kind of a studio standard microphone. Picks up a really faithful replication of the sound.
Okay.
Above, just for an alternative, just to see if there's some interesting things we can do a bit spatially to get a more stereo sort of feel.
Okay.
I stuck a stereo microphone, a ribbon mic, and so this is what they sound like. The main mic in front is like this. So there's a lot of detail in that.
Yeah.
Lots of the tonal range is fine. That's a very faithful replication.
Okay.
But with the other one, it goes like this, and it's got a more sort of stereo and spacey feel because it was further away from the instrument, right? So it's picking up more of the room sounds.
More natural ear sound, yeah.
You can really see that. And if I make it central with mono versus stereo, very big difference, right?
Yeah.
And I think probably the right thing to do is to mix the two together to add a bit of interest, bit of space, bit of reverby sort of sound from the overhead mic.
Yeah.
But may have the principal mic being that central one. So let's see how that would mix. So there's the simple one, and let's bring in some of.
Okay. So just ease that back a little bit. Oh, I see what you mean now. Okay. Yeah.
And then, so that's with a lot of the overhead and none.
Okay.
So it's a very dry sort of sound. It's mono, obviously, because it's a single microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you're putting it into a big piece, is probably what you want. You usually put a mono microphone in front of a thing and pan it somewhere, and then it's sitting in the mix.
Right.
In this particular case, because it's by miles the main instrument in the thing.
Sure.
I think having that combined with, you can see, there we go.
But I like the feel that gives as well, so I think that's quite nice.
Yeah. So,
how would it be if we introduced, say, the banjo at this stage?
well, I think the banjo we need to pan off to one side.
Okay.
Because otherwise it can be a bit sort of, because it's got the banjo has a curious thing. It's got a very powerful attack. That's why I actually played it with just my fingers as opposed to usually you play banjo with these finger picks, right?
Yeah.
But that gives it this massive attack sound, and the attack can dominate. We'll pan that right off to the right or left, but let's try the right.
Yeah.
So let's see what it would look like. Now here's the banjo part. Okay, so here's the guitar.
I hope you've enjoyed this making of feature. Remember, Fenland TV is always on the lookout for news, stories, events, so if you do have anything, please feel free to get in touch. And finally, here is the finished music and graphic.
Was a theme I wanted to reflect in the music as well.
Well, since we first met and first talked it through, that's exactly how you explained it to me. And when this has come together, it's, I think, exactly what we were looking for.
Superb.
But I guess now's the time to give it an airing.
Right, so let's just have one last listen.